Hi, Kathy. Malika Andrews, ESPN. I just wanted to get some clarity on some of the specifics that Nafisa Collier said about your conversation that you had that was previously private. Did you in fact say that, quote, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the rights deal that I got them?
There's a lot of...
Could the Indiana Fever, a team that many thought was poised for greatness, be getting ready for an announcement that has shocked the WNBA and sent shockwaves through the basketball world? The Indiana Fever were the league's buzz of a town just 6 months ago. Gainbridge Fieldhouse was crowded with fans. The future appeared more promising than it had in years, and merchandise was flying off the shelves. At last, the group had established itself. Or so everyone believed. However, beneath the surface, rifts were developing, tensions were rising, and a storm was building that would soon burst into the open. In every way, the metamorphosis had been extraordinary. After years of struggling and playing to small audiences in a city that seemed to have forgotten its WNBA team, a club found itself at the epicenter of a basketball revolution. It was electric energy. The optimism spread like wildfire. People proudly donned Fever jerseys everywhere you looked. The crew was welcomed by local companies like never before. Restaurants developed meal items with a Fever theme. Bars promoted specials for game day. The Indianapolis Star abruptly put the team on the front page of the sports section several times a week after relegating Fever coverage to sporadic back-page mentions. Longtime season ticket holder Patricia Anderson remarked, "It felt like 2012 all over again," alluding to the Fever's lone WNBA title. In actuality, it felt even better. There was a tremendous buzz. My grandchildren wanted to attend games. At work, many wanted to discuss the Fever. It fulfilled all of our expectations. Enrollment in youth basketball leagues increased throughout Indiana. Suddenly, young ladies who had never thought about playing basketball wanted to do so. According to coaches, their players were imitating plays, trying signature techniques they had seen at Fever games, and studying the game with a level of focus they had never seen before. The effect on the economy was significant. According to estimates from local experts, Fever home games were bringing in millions of dollars in revenue. On game nights, hotels close to the arena were completely occupied. Premium charges were charged for parking lots. The economy of downtown Indianapolis was affected, but as many have discovered, success is not always stable. Additionally, issues were brewing inside the Fever's practice facility. In hindsight, there were signs, but they were faint and easily missed. The small-scale conflict that arises in any setting when competition is present. A player during practice sitting by himself on the bench. An expression of frustration made by a coach during a timeout. A vague social media post that could have multiple meanings. Jessica Wallace, a seasoned WNBA reporter, wrote a piece headlined "Growing Pains: The Fever's Unexpected Challenges" at the beginning of March. It received very little attention at the time. The title appeared to be standard sports journalism, fabricating drama for clicks and identifying issues where none seemed to exist. Wallace, however, had detected something. She had seen body language during media-accessible practices. At team meals, she had seen which players were seated together and which were alone. She had kept tabs on social media exchanges, noting who liked each other's postings and who had completely ceased participating. There was a disconnect, Wallace subsequently clarified during a podcast talk. "I had a strange feeling, but I couldn't pinpoint what it was. Even if the wins were present, not everyone felt delight." Her worries were ignored by other reporters. The Fever was taking the lead. There was an increase in attendance. What more could a person ask for? In the realm of professional sports, success frequently conceals dysfunction. For a while, teams with serious internal issues can nonetheless win games. According to a quote from former NBA coach Jeff Van Gundy, chemistry problems are like carbon monoxide poisoning. It's not until it's too late that you realize you have an issue. His predictions about the Indiana Fever turned out to be accurate. Front desk employees, equipment managers, assistant coaches, and team insiders had observed conflicts, but thought they were typical. There are players on every squad who don't get along well. Later, an unidentified staff member acknowledged, "We assumed it would sort itself out. We believed that any rough edges would be smoothed off by victory." That supposition would turn out to be disastrously incorrect. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert made an unusual announcement that left everyone stunned. The news came like a lightning bolt. Few anticipated Engelbert's announcement that 3 key players would apparently be leaving the Indiana Fever, which caused instant uncertainty and indignation. This goes beyond a simple roster adjustment. It's a seismic event that completely changes the league's terrain. There was only 4 hours warning before the news conference was set. Reporters hurried to change their plans. Camera teams hurried to get everything set up. There was a lot of conjecture on social media regarding what may possibly call for such hurry. At precisely 2 Potters, Engelbert entered the chamber. Eastern Time. Her motions were purposeful, her demeanor solemn. She had a bottle of water and 1 sheet of paper with her. There were none of the customary greetings. Warm-up statements and short conversation were absent. She went straight to the podium and got started. Engelbert started off by saying, "Thank you for joining us on short notice," in a steady yet worried tone. The Women's National Basketball Association has always taken pride in being a league where players have agency and a voice. We recognize a situation today that illustrates the advantages and difficulties associated with player empowerment. Reporters leaned forward, cameras focused, and the room tensed. She added that the league is aware of the Indiana Fever's major roster alterations. 3 athletes have made it clear that they plan to leave the team. We acknowledge the influence this has on the team, the supporters, and the league overall, even as we respect player choices and their right to pursue the best opportunities for their careers. She stopped and drank some water. The room was completely silent. The WNBA will ensure a seamless transition by collaborating closely with all stakeholders. We are dedicated to helping the Indiana Fever organization get through this difficult time, and we are also dedicated to making sure that these leaving players are placed in environments where they can succeed. Questions started to flow right away. With a desperate tone, reporters yelled over one another. The 3 players were who? Which factors led to this? Was this a coaching issue or a pay issue? Had there been any league rules broken by the team? Engelbert raised a hand. Right now, I am unable to comment on certain player circumstances. The players involved will have the chance to express their opinions when, and if they so desire, and the Fever organization will be issuing a statement soon. There are now more urgent, louder questions. Engelbert replied, slightly raising her voice to be heard over the den. I can tell you that this situation did not arise from any single incident. It represents an accumulation of worries over time based on our understanding. The league takes these incidents very seriously, and we'll be reviewing our procedures to see how we can help players and teams better prevent such incidents in the future. There was merely a 12-minute news conference. Engelbert took 5 questions, failed to provide satisfactory answers to all of them, and then left the room to field a barrage of unanswered follow-up questions. The story quickly spread on all of the main sports platforms. Millions of phones received a notice from ESPN. Reactions, speculations, and heated takes were all over Twitter, which is now X. In order to address the breaking news, sports talk radio shows paused their programming. The first response was incredulity. Many believed that there had been some misinterpretation or misunderstanding. This can't be genuine, surely. 3 players couldn't possibly be departing a team that had just seen such a significant comeback, could they? However, reality sank in as the minutes stretched into hours and additional information started to surface from other sources. This was taking place. This actually happened. The WNBA's season-long feel-good story, the Indiana Fever, was in the midst of a disastrous collapse. The sports betting markets responded right away. The chances of the Fever winning the title, which had been quite good only a few hours before, fell. The odds of different players taking home individual honors changed significantly. The financial ramifications spread throughout the sports betting market. Outside of Gainbridge Fieldhouse, fans started to congregate. Some people want more details, while others merely want to be close to the location that had made them happy only a few weeks before. Television journalists flocked to the arena to do spontaneous interviews with astonished fans who found it difficult to express their emotions. One fan added, "I don't understand," with tears in her eyes. "We were excellent," At last, we were doing well. How does this occur? Another fan, clutching a basketball and sporting a Fever jersey, remained motionless, gazing at the stadium entrance as though he was waiting for someone to come out and inform him that this was all a terrible error. The sports industry, which is renowned for its quick reactions and hot takes, appeared briefly stunned. This article didn't fit neatly into any one category. This has nothing to do with a botched contract negotiation or a disgruntled superstar requesting a transfer. This was something more profound, intricate, and quite concerning. The startling reality of Sophie Cunningham's leaving comes first. Even if she isn't officially sick, her intense competitiveness would be severely damaged if she were to leave any team she was a part of. For weeks, there had been rumors of increasing conflicts behind closed doors, but nobody could have foreseen such a clear-cut split, particularly from a group that was ready to make progress.